Thank you for expressing an interest in becoming a St John Ambulance volunteer. This information session will last for 10 minutes and will tell you a little bit about who we are, what we do and the extraordinary opportunities available to you. There are many reasons why people want to volunteer with St John. Students often want to gain additional professional development, often not available at uni or until they're in employment or at final placement. Health professionals may want to maintain their first aid competence while extending their medical practice in non-hospital medical settings. Tradies, service industry professionals and occupational safety and health officers need to stay current with their qualifications. And mums and dads may want a hobby the whole family can do that sets everyone up to be able to respond in an emergency. And then there are individuals and friendship groups who want to meet other like-minded community givers to have fun, learn something new and go to some great events. Whatever your reason, here's a little bit more information so you can decide whether it's worth applying. First, I'll talk a bit about our history, then about our current operations, what type of events you might like to attend and the roles and professional develop opportunities you might acquire. Finally, we'll finish with what you can expect from the application selection process. So let's get started. First, our history. The Order of St John dates back to 1066 and the Crusades. Here in Australia, Melbourne was the birthplace of St John Ambulance in 1883, when first aid training began being offered to the public. By the turn of the century, St John trained volunteers were a common sight at events like the opening of Federal Parliament, sporting events, and assisting victims of accidents involving the new motor vehicles. Today, almost 130 years later, St John Ambulance Victoria continues this tradition with over 2,000 volunteers. Our volunteers range in age from 8 to 80 years old and come from all professions, ethnicities and beliefs. In the last 12 months, St John Victoria has provided over 200,000 hours of service to the Victorian community, helping to keep our social gatherings, workplaces and communities safe wherever accident or injury may occur. St John provides communication logistics, physical and psychological first aid when working with other emergency response teams, such as the police and SES during times of natural disasters such as the 2009 bushfires and the recent floods. The resourcing of St John Victoria work is all currently self-funded, without $1 coming from any state or federal government department. St John the organisation. Today, St John operates two main branches: volunteer services and commercial services. The net financial proceeds from the sales of our first aid kits and commercial training are used to support the work of St John in the community. Where might you see us or be volunteering? Well, we're pretty much everywhere. We have 66 locations across Victoria from Mildura to Gippsland. You might see a first aid post at your little athletics meet, a netball game, community festival, large club function or an outdoor concert. You'll see our volunteers at all the events at the MCG, Etihad Stadium, Rod Laver Arena, Amy Stadium, Her Majesty's Theatre and the Sydney Myer Music Bowl. And then there are large festivals and concerts such as the Big Day Out or New Year's Eve in the Melbourne CBD. And yes, you can be part of them. So where do you start? Well, it depends on how old you are and what you want out of your volunteering experience. For young people and children under 16, cadets are a great way to get into life, meet friends and gain new skills. Many of our senior paramedics and health professionals started as cadets. By the time a St John trained cadet who starts under the age of 14 gets to 17, they're often as skilled as an enrolled nurse and have superior skills to an entry-level adult volunteer. Young people will start by meeting with their local division cadet leader or divisional manager in the closest local area, who will outline the commitment and cost of being a cadet. Young people will then need permission from their parent or guardian to apply to be a cadet. Cadets receive a full uniform, learn first aid, and they'll be expected to participate in their divisional meetings and their local community. Cadets aged between 12 and 17 can be rostered for cadet-friendly events like the Australian Tennis Open. For health professionals, once the background checks are completed and insurances have been verified and accepted, they will be challenge tested and inducted into St John protocols. Initially, they will be expected to attend complex environments as an observer. Health professionals will require a uniform and IT access before being rostered to practice under their insurance within the medical assistance team. Health professionals who wish to practice as a first aider or a first responder are welcome to do so. There is no pressure to become a part of the MAT. A new first aider will choose the division they would like to belong to. This choice might be based on where you work, where you live, or recreate. Then their backgrounds will be checked, first aid training completed, and then inducted into St John processes and protocols. From then on, they can attend meetings and be rostered for duty on receipt of their uniform and IT access. In addition to first aid, if you would like to learn communications, we provide you with all the training you require to do so at the State Office in Mount Waverley or at the major event sites. People interested in IT and computers are strongly suited to our communications roles and can be rostered for both first aid duties and communications. As an adult, if you would like to transfer to a different division at any time, you can do this easily. Remember, it's your volunteering experience and your time. We want it to be as engaging as possible. What about additional opportunities? Well, if you're a student health professional or experienced first aider looking to expand your skill set, after demonstrating your competence and 30 service hours, you may be invited to achieve your first responder training where you can assess and treat asthma, anaphylaxis, use a defibrillator and take on additional responsibilities. Or, if you're looking to get out on the bikes, you could express your interest or be invited to train and join the Bicycle Emergency Response Team, otherwise known as BERT. Perhaps expanding your coaching or facilitation skills is what you're wanting. Then why not request to be endorsed as a St John trainer, where you can facilitate learning experiences, write training materials, assess and deliver a range of professional development to keep our volunteer workforce job ready and engaged. Access to all additional training and vocational development is based on your service history and continued demonstration of competence. Long-term volunteers of 3 to 5 years may be eligible to take on strategic decision-making roles at divisional or state level, leading and managing a team or portfolio such as cadets, training or clinical services. A management training program is available to those interested. Students cannot be part of the medical assistance team until they hold a professional licence. Paramedics are considered health professionals in St John when they're both registered with their professional body and are employed as a part of a patient transport service such as MICA or Ambulance Victoria. What are the expectations of me in the first 12 months? Well, new members are required to complete the induction course, perform 60 service hours, complete the blue workbook you receive and start at your induction. Health professionals will not complete a workbook but will need to complete a medical questionnaire and an annual challenge test as described at induction. How will you know what duties are available and how will you complete your training? And if you need something, who do you call? The answer to all these questions is you'll belong to a division. Divisions are our meeting places. They are the St John clubhouses. It's where on a weekly basis we meet to find out about duties, ask questions, get trained and enjoy social time not related to events. These meetings are usually held once a week in the evenings for 2 to 3 hours and cover future events, training and social time. Some divisions have adults and cadets. Sometimes they meet separately, other times combined. This year, we've introduced a new division, which is a virtual division. The virtual division is an adults-only division that operates predominantly online and by phone. It will operate a little differently to local divisions and is suited to people who are self-motivated to complete training and drive their volunteering experience, but are unable to make meetings due to a remote location or other life commitments. There is still the expectation of members completing their 60 hours of service per year and attending professional development to complete your annual workbook. However, training will be held at our Melbourne Training Centre and at major venues where other divisional members also attend. In your first year, you'll be provided with a members helpline and a contact to discuss your volunteering development. The process of becoming a St John volunteer. From career maintenance and progression to fun times and friendships, there are many good reasons to join. All we ask of you is 12 hours a month. Your annual commitment needs to add up to 60 hours annually. You can do as many additional hours as you like at any time of the year. However, it's only fair to let you know that not everyone who applies to St John will be accepted as a volunteer. As you can imagine, first aid isn't for everyone, and while we need passionate people who want to be involved, we also need people to be realistic about their available time. St John needs well-spoken, competent, punctual and presentable people who can uphold our code of conduct with a positive can-do attitude. People able to do what needs to be done, no matter how big or how small the task. St John needs team players who hold service to others as highly as their own qualification or experience. So, if you think this is still you, then this is what you need to do to be considered. Whether you're new to first aid, a community worker, a police officer, a registered nurse, working paramedic or a doctor, everyone needs to complete an online or hard copy application form, a National Police check and a Working with Children check before being accepted to a division. We can send copies of these out to you. Then, when the application form and National Police check forms are received with your 100 points of ID, we'll make contact to line you up with your division of choice for a chat. Unfortunately, police checks go with the organisation, so even if you have one already, we need one for us, and for you to attach a copy of 100 points of ID. The good news is all checks are free of charge. We process it in-house, so it takes about a week, and your initial paperwork is usually done within 14 days of us receiving it. You will need a current Working with Children card, and for St John to be on your list of notifiable agencies. Do you have a valid card already? Easy. Just add your number to the application form and go online or call the Department of Justice to add St John as a notifiable agency. Then, copy and paste the online e-confirmation into an email or send us a screenshot of the confirmation as a picture with the website header, and we can progress you until we receive your official paperwork from the department. This may take up to 8 weeks, so getting your evidence will speed things up. If you don't have a Working with Children card, then all you need to do is go to your local post office, complete the form and hand it in with a passport photo. This can be done at the post office and it's free. We pay for it as we do your police check. When they give you the receipt, send us the copy by email or post and we can progress your application. The department sends your official paperwork within 6 to 8 weeks. Common mistakes in filling out the forms include boxes not being completed or witness to co-sign your police check is missing, health professionals and first aiders failing to provide copies of qualifications or not including copies of your 100 points of ID for the police check. Your forms will be returned and it will hold up your application process, so please use the checklist before sending in your paperwork. The next step in your application, we'll make contact to line you up with your division of choice for a chat. The next step in your application is for a first aid course or to book you into an induction session. This is providing we have all your paperwork and you've had your chat with the divisional manager. In addition, you have 3 months to attend an observation shift from divisional interview. So feel free to ask your divisional manager for the opportunity while you wait for your final training. Given the investment St John is making in volunteers, if you do not complete your 12 months with us as a volunteer, you will be invoiced for your first aid training and you will need to return all St John uniform, ID cards and property. We're about to finish this presentation, so if you'd like to apply, please complete an application if you haven't already. And our helpline support officer will be in contact shortly. Alternatively, you can email us or call us on 1300 360 455. Thanks for hanging in there and getting all the info. To end, here are a few words from our existing members to describe their experiences of volunteering at St John.
Something that makes this organisation so unique is that we have people from all walks of life. I mean, you can be working beside someone who may be a nurse or a doctor, but they could be a plumber or an electrician.
It's like spending the day out with your friends at a coffee shop, except you're at an event or you're hanging out in the sunshine.
St John's has been wonderful to me, absolutely supportive. It's great for extended practice. So if you're a nurse or an AMBO or even a doctor, come down and play. It's a great time.
Thanks, and we hope to hear from you soon.